So I know there was a book called fairly recently, but I'm a terrible person and I can't stop acquiring books. First up, I have 3 books that I was very kindly sent by Aoife from FredWeasleyDiedLaughing because I won her giveaway that she ran recently. And the first of those books was Nimona by Noelle Stevenson, and this is a graphic novel that I've wanted for such a long time. I feel like I'm the only person that hasn't read it, and oh my god, it was so good. I have already read this, so if you want to hear more of my thoughts on this, then it will be in my May wrap-up. Oh my god, it's June. Where is my life going? If you somehow don't know anything about this graphic novel, it is about a girl named Nimona who goes to work with a villain called Lord Blackheart as his sidekick, and Nimona has the power to transform into any sort of animal and a lot of people, and I just enjoyed this graphic novel so much. The art is just absolutely gorgeous as well. Next, I have a poetry collection by Beech called When I Grow Up I Want to Be Mary Beard, and I have heard so much about this poetry collection. I think I first saw it on Jean's Bookish Thoughts maybe, and she was really enthusiastic about it, and I trust her taste completely, so I knew I had to get this poetry collection. This is such a powerful collection and it's very feministy. Beech is a undergrad at King's College London, I think, which just gives me so much envy. Like, what am I doing with my life? Next, I have The Water Babies by Charles Kingsley, which is the only book that Aoife sent me that I haven't read yet. I'm kind of holding out on it because I'm going to be studying it next semester in uni for a Victorian childhood module, and I didn't read this as a child, so I don't know a huge amount about it other than it is about a boy named Tom who is employed by someone called Grimes, who I think is the villain of the story, to be a chimney sweep. He falls down a chimney and ends up in the bedroom of a girl named Ellie. Her parents think he's a thief. He runs away, he goes into the water and becomes a water baby. I don't know much about it other than that, but I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really looking forward to that module next semester. Next, I have The Gracekeepers by Kirsty Logan, and oh my god, look at how beautiful this book is. This cover is absolutely gorgeous. It's a really floppy book as well, and I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but I love a book that's just really bendy and floppy, and the pages just feel really good. I'm just gonna read you the blurb of this one because it has such a captivating blurb that just makes you want to read it straight away. Again, feels like quite a summer read for some reason. Flooded world, a floating circus, 2 women in search of a home. North lives on a circus boat with her beloved bear, keeping a secret that could capsize her life. Callanish lives alone in the middle of the ocean, tending the graves of those who die at sea. As penance for a terrible mistake, she has become a Gracekeeper. A chance meeting between the two draws them magnetically to one another and to the promise of a new life, but the waters are treacherous and the tide is against them. This book sounds so good and I cannot wait to get to it. This ebook I want to talk about is Stardust by Neil Gaiman. I have never read a Neil Gaiman book before. I know, shock horror, but I thought it was about time that I got around to some of his stuff. So Stardust is about a boy named Tristan in a town called Wall, and to impress his beloved, he vows that he will get her a star. He will find her a star and he will bring it to her. To do that, he must go over the wall that surrounds his town. And this book is basically about what happens to him when he goes over the wall. Very excited to get to some Neil Gaiman for the first time. Next is a book I am super pumped to get to, and that is The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making by Catherynne M. Vallente. Nailed it. This is about a girl named September and the adventures she has when she is swept away to Fairyland. And I have heard so much hype around this book. I think the first place I heard it was on Kristen's channel, Vienna Waits Books, and I fell in love with the idea. It sounds wonderful. Next, I have Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, which is the second book in the Red Rising series. And I have not read the first book yet. I mentioned it in last month's haul, and I'm really hoping to get to it. I heard mixed things about the series, but recently I saw Melissa from the Bookish Babbler who was so enthusiastic about the first book in the series, so I am gradually getting more pumped to read it. Hopefully I will over the summer. I have a book that has been getting a lot of love over the past few months on BookTube, and that is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This is about a woman named Rosemary who goes on board the Wayfarer, and the different characters she meets there, the different experience she has there. It is a whole mismatch of different species on board, and then they get offered the job of the lifetime. And I don't know much about it other than that. But there is so much hype around it, and I have an ebook version of it and an audiobook version of it because my boyfriend bought the audiobook version. So yeah, I am super excited to experience this book, and I'm really looking forward to it. Next is a book which I think has been on my wish list for literally years, and that is Extraordinary Means by Robyn Schneider. And this is a YA book about a boy named Lane who is sent to a boarding school for sick children, and he thinks that this is basically the end of his life. But when he meets a group including Sadie, he realizes that there is so much more to life than being sick. Cue the Fault in Our Stars comparisons. As I said, this book has been on my wish list for such a long time now, so I am really looking forward to getting to it. Next, I have a non-fiction book, and that is Girl Boss by Sophia Amoruso, who is the executive chairman of Nasty Gal, which is a really awesome online retailer. And if you've not heard of them before or seen any of their clothes before, I would highly recommend you go check them out. I will put a link in the description. This is sort of a memoir slash like motivational book, and it's all about being a woman in business and Sophia's experiences and what it is like to be a girl boss, and I am so looking forward to getting to this book. It is the type of non-fiction that I just devour. I love it so much. Next, I have Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore by Robyn Sloan, and I don't know much about this book other than it is set in a bookstore and it is filled with enthusiasm for books, and that's really all I needed to just fall in love with the concept of this book. I really want to read more books about books because oh my god, books about books were like my favourite thing for so long, and I have not read any books that are properly about books in like their physical form. I read like a lot of metafiction, but more like postmodern stuff as opposed to like just being in love with the idea of books. This is a book I have been eyeing up for quite a while. I think the first place I saw it was on Lex Croucher's channel, link in the description. Not that you need a link to Lex Croucher's channel. But that is Sophia is Not Obliged by Ayisha Malik, and all I really know about this book is that it is about what it's like to be a Muslim woman in Britain and the Muslim dating scene, and that is just something that really intrigues me because it's not something I'm ever going to experience, but at the same time I don't want to be totally ignorant to it because ignorance isn't good. This is meant to be like a heartwarming romantic comedy kind of book, but I also think it's really important in terms of reading diversely, and I am so looking forward to getting to this book. It strikes me as a really summery read as well for some reason. Next, I have Hitman, Anders and the Meaning of It All by Jonasson, and you may know this author as the person that wrote The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared or something, and The Girl Who Saved the King of Sweden. I am about halfway through this book now, and I have mixed feelings in it. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings on Jonasson's writing. This is meant to be a really humorous book, and if you are familiar with his other work and enjoyed it, then I am sure you will enjoy this book as well. Next is another bookish book, and that is The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman. I hope I've pronounced her first name correctly. But this is about a woman named Irene who is a professional spy for the library, and her job is to like travel throughout time periods and places collecting rare and important books. And when she goes to London to find a particularly important book, she realizes that it's missing. Next is a book that I've seen getting a lot of love over the past couple months, and that is Fates and Furies by Lauren Groff. And this was actually Barack Obama's like favorite book of 2015 or something, so if that's not a decent enough recommendation, I don't know what is. This is a novel about a couple, and a couple that is like the envy of everyone. They are like the best couple, the ultimate couple, hashtag couple goals. But this book is more about what happens behind closed doors and what their marriage is actually like. And that concept really intrigues me. I'm really interested in like the perceptions of marriage we have and what marriages are actually like. It's one of the reasons I really enjoyed Middlemarch by George Eliot. But yeah, really looking forward to getting to this book. Barack Obama recommends it. What more can you want? Next, I have The Smell of Other People's Houses by Bonnie Sue Hitchcock, and this is a YA book about 4 teenagers and how their lives become entangled. It is set in Alaska in the 1970s, and that sort of region of the world is always something that I really enjoy in literature. I don't know why it is, but anything that's set in Alaska or Canada, I have always just really enjoyed it. Also, just the title of this book is so, like, it just draws you in so much, and the cover is gorgeous as well. I wish I had a physical copy of it. Finish my tea, that's not okay. Next I have The Girls by Emma Cline, and oh my god, this book, oh my god. I am only a few chapters from the end and I am like on the edge of my seat reading it. I love this book. I thought it was so good. This is set in California at the end of the 1960s, and it is about a teenage girl named Evie Boyd. And she sees a group of teenage girls that have seemingly so much freedom, and she becomes kind of obsessed with these girls, particularly one called Suzanne, and she becomes involved with these girls and their lifestyle, and the older man named Russell, who is kind of in charge of them, I suppose. And this book is so tense. It is so thrilling. It is, oh my god, I did not want to put it down. This is about a situation that I have never read anything similar to. This was just so captivating, and oh my god, I'll speak about it more in my wrap up, but oh my goodness. Next I have Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, and this is a young adult coming of age novel with a very beautiful cover. This is about the friendship between 2 boys who meet in a swimming pool and seem to have nothing in common, but the friendship begins to build between them and they discover more about themselves and the world, and I am really looking forward to getting to this one. It seems like such a beautiful YA book and I'm super excited for it. Next, I bought the entire The Paper Magician series. I am super excited to get to this trilogy. It consists of The Paper Magician, The Glass Magician, and The Master Magician. And I don't normally buy series in one go. I will just buy the first book or read the first book and see if I get on with it before trying out the next ones. But I was just so drawn in by the series. I could not avoid them. I could not resist buying them. The entire series only cost me less than £3 on Kindle as well, so I couldn't go wrong. I don't actually know a huge amount about the plot of this series other than it is about someone that graduates from a magician school and the type of careers they can get after that. That's something that really intrigues me. We read a lot about what happens in magical schools, but not after the students graduate. What kind of jobs can the kids in Hogwarts get? They are all the books that I got in May. Quite a lot. Slightly worrying. In my defense, a lot of them are ebooks. I don't actually have that many physical books this month. If you read any of these, please let me know what you thought and if there is anything I should get to super quickly. I'm feeling that I might hold off on the book hauls for a little bit, but it probably won't happen.